Hey, this is Joe from HomeStudioCorner.com. Last week I showed you, I believe it was last week, this trick for automating the string section on a song to make it sound more realistic if you're using fake strings. And several of you asked about the vocal in this song and how I got the vocal sound. And so I'll do that in today's video. Keep in mind, this is just, for the most part, this is just raw tracks for my album. If you look at the session, there's a little bit of an EQ on the kick out. The bass has a little bit of EQ on it. And that's really it. So the vocal has a little bit of processing just to get it to sit in the mix while I listened and decided if I wanted to keep it. But everything, if you take away the vocals, this is just the raw tracks for the most part. So keep that in mind. This isn't a finished mix by any stretch of the imagination, but the vocal tone I do like. I experimented with it for a couple minutes after recording it, and it ended up being kind of cool. So let me just play it real quickly so you can reminded what it sounds like here. Okay, so the big trick here, yes, I'm going to show you some plugins here in just a second of what I did, but the biggest thing that I did on this, see if you can pick it out. I'm going to hit play, see if you can, I'll solo it so you can listen again. Let's go. Start right here. All the brokenness, I just can't fix it. Can you pick it out? What is it? Is it a fancy effect? Is it some sort of crazy mix ninja move? No. Look, it's 1, 2, 3. As it turns out, not everybody, but a lot of people know that doubling a lead vocal is a great way to add depth and width and thickness and all that sort of stuff. Well, I was singing this and recording this, and the single vocal by itself, I didn't love. All the brokenness. It was okay, but it wasn't very big, so I doubled it and got this. All the brokenness, I just can't. And then I just wanted to sing another take, and so I did, and then I panned 2 of the takes left and right, 1 take up the middle, and now I've got 3 vocals singing the same thing. All the brokenness, I just can't. Now this is a great technique if you can sing, or if you can get the singer to sing exactly the same thing every time. So for this song, I had the doubled vocal coming in on the choruses, and then for this bridge, I brought in the third vocal to give it this huge, so that this doubled vocal was up the middle during the verses, and then I've automated to the left during this bridge where I bring in the third vocal on the right. But you got to be able to sing it not perfect, but very consistently throughout each line. What it's like to look her in the eye. So you've got to have that. So that's the first thing, the whole getting it right at the source thing. If you're going to triple a vocal, which you hear this a lot in rap music and lots of other styles of music, there's doubled vocal isn't where it ends, and I'm just now discovering that tripled vocal is super cool. So that's what I did. That's the first step. The next step is I added so here's the raw tracks with nothing on them. What it's like. So the first thing I did was EQ, and from the looks of it, you'd think it would sound duller, but it actually sounds brighter. So here it is without EQ. Here it is with. What it's like. Cutouts and low end. There's some resonance at 502K-ish, and that made it sound brighter. Then use just some basic compression to give it a little more aggressiveness, basic vocal compression. What it's like to look her in the eye. So you can hear the sibilants, the w and t and l, all the, that sounded ridiculous. All the little sounds and consonants come out a little more, which in the big mix is helpful. And this next tip I can't take credit for. I'm not sure if I like it yet, but I think I do. And it's using multiband compression as sort of an EQ / compressor. So I felt like there was a lot of buildup in this kind of upper mid-range with three vocal takes all done on the SM7, which is what I'm using now, which can be a little mid-range heavy when you start stacking them up. So I use this to turn down the mid-range, but also compress it a little more heavily, and then allow the highs and the mids not to be compressed, the lows and mids to be Somewhat left alone, more compression on the highs, on the high mids, I guess, and a little less compression on the really high, so we have some brightness left. So it goes from sounding like this
What it's like,
to this.
what it's like to look her in the eye and see that I was wrong and that I lied and
So the bulk of the compression is actually happening in this range from 1.6K up to 7K, which is right here. So we don't have that jumping out and hurting us, and we can get the vocal nice and loud without that jumping out. But since it's multiband compression, it's not turning it down the whole time. It's only really turning it down when it gets too loud, which keeps everything up and in your face, which is nice for a big vocal like this in a big section of the song. So we go from this, no multiband compression,
what it's like,
to this.
what it's like,
Just a little brighter, a little crisper, a little more in your face. Add in a slapback delay
what it's like,
in mono, and you get this.
what it's like to look her in the eye and see that I was wrong.
Okay? And real quick, that tip, by the way, of using multiband compression on a vocal, I got that from, it was a Waves video I saw on YouTube with, what's his name? The guy, the famous mix engineer. He has plug-in bundles named after him. Tony Maserati. There we go. Almost forgot your name, Tony. Sorry. And so, yeah, that's the vocal. And then at the end of this section, it's a much quieter over here. So I just sang basically that part over and over, except I had my friend Whitney come in and sing a couple doubles of that as well. I had her with me.
You don't know.
We're singing the same thing, it's just different tone.
You don't know.
Works nicely, and then these harmonies.
You don't know.
With a delay on there.
You don't know. You don't know.
So there you go. For that part, that may have been the part most of you were asking about, honestly. You've got me singing it 3 times, and you've got her singing that same exact part, but it's another voice, a different voice with much prettier voice, singing on top of that, layered in, and then a harmony comes in halfway through. Just a kind of a dissonant, different harmony, and it creates this bigness there that I really like. So there you go. You ask, you receive. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Next week, got a cool announcement for you. If you want to hear about it earlier than next Thursday when the video comes out, head over to homestudiocorner.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll find out more about it soon enough. All right, I'll see you then. Bye.